థ్యాంక్ యూ సార్ తిరుమల సార్. ఇప్పుడు ప్రొఫెసర్ PL విశ్వేశ్వరరావు గారిని మాట్లాడాల్సిందిగా రిక్వెస్ట్ చేస్తున్నా.
సార్ ఒకటే 2-3 నిమిషాలు నేను మాట్లాడతాను. 1 or 2 issues I want to clarify very categorically and clearly. Number 1, the Bihar has already taken caste census. ఆ బీహార్ ఇష్యూ కాస్ట్ సెన్సస్ చేసేటప్పుడు చేసిన తర్వాత కూడా దానికి సుప్రీంకోర్టు వెళ్ళినారు. సో వీ మస్ట్ గెట్ అ మోడర్న్ కంటెంపరీ ఇష్యూస్ ఇన్ టు దిస్ డిబేట్. ఐఎమ్ కోటింగ్ ద సుప్రీం కోర్ట్. సుప్రీం కోర్ట్ సెడ్, quote unquote, the caste census which have been carried out by Bihar government is upheld by this court. They have every right to carry out caste census. However, if there is anyone having any problem with the collection of the data, they can come to the court. But we uphold the constitutional validity of the Bihar government taking the census. Number 1. Number 2, which is much more important for our discussion, is there is Article 340, my dear Professor Tirumali, which has made it very, very clear. I'm quoting the Constitution. I'm not quoting me. Article 340 allows the President of India carry out any caste census in this country. On the basis of that, Mandal Commission was appointed on the basis of 340 of the Constitution. I think it's also very important for to understand, our jargon has to change. Our language has to change. We are not talking about reservation. We are talking about representation. We say participative democracy, representative democracy. The language which you use in this country is quotas, reservation. We are not talking about reservation. We are talking about representation. I will quote the Constitution a little later. So it is very, very important because in the rest of the world, it is called affirmative action. We welcome Justice Ishwaraya, a very distinguished judge of the High Court. I'm happy, sir, you have come. I'm just exactly quoting the Constitution. So that is where we need to use the word reservation, representation, not reservation, because we are a representative democracy. And rest of the world, look at the jargon which is used by rest of the world. They say affirmative action. America calls it affirmative action. There are now 4 judges in the Supreme Court who are blacks in America today. Though there is no reservation there, they are given the representation. Among the data which I have, there are 71 black deans heading in American universities among the 3,500 universities. 71 black deans. There is no reservation there. America, the modern democracy, they said, we will give representation to them. Mr. Yadagiri is also there. Look at it in American television. Take Hollywood. You find blacks there, black anchors. By deliberate, by choice, they get black anchors. I'll give a little bit of data a little later. So when Rahul Gandhi has been raising this issue, he said, among the 90 secretaries who are there in the central government, there are only 3 BCs, which is a fact, which is less than 2% of the representation there. So we also have to be very clear, if you look at the narrative of the Prime Minister in the last 3-4 days, including what he said in the Parliament, he said, making it very clear, we will not take out caste census. Making it very clear. And that is their agenda. They are anti-reservation, anti-affirmative action, anti-Dalit, anti-BC, anti-women, anti-poor. There is absolutely no doubt in my mind when I'm using. So when you look at these kind of a dimension, we have given a representation to Telangana state. We met quite a few people, including the Chief Minister, but there is confusion. They are saying, we will give you BC census. I'm quoting again the governor's speech. The state is committed to carrying out caste census with particular reference to BCs. There is confusion there. We do not want BC census. We want caste census. We would like to know Which are the communities which are there? What is the ready population? I know it for a fact, without even the data, it is less than 3% of the population. Velama population is 0.4% population. Other population, including another 2-3%, 93% of the population. Bihar alone is having 64% population. Telangana will have BC population much more. Much more. So 93% of the population are scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, backward classes and minorities here. In that kind of a context, it's very, very important for me to quote again the Constitution. It's very important what the Constitution says. I'm not talking about the Constituent Assembly. I'm talking about the Constitution. I'm quoting the Constitution, no interpretation. Inequality is there in income, inequality is there in wealth, etc., etc. In that kind of a context, I'm quoting the Constitution, how power is wielded by a very, very small percentage of 2%, 3% of the population. Article 39, B says, the ownership and control of the material resources of the community are so to be distributed as best as subservice to common good. This is what the Constitution says. Quote unquote. Article 39, I quoted Article 39B, Article 39C. The operation of the economic system does not result in the concentration of wealth and means of production to the common detriment. Am I right, sir? That is what the Constitution says. And I'm also saying, I've read several constitutions of the world. I'm making it very, very clear. Nowhere anywhere in the Constitution in the rest of the world talks about reduction of inequalities in the Constitution. India, the only constitution in the world which talks about reduction of inequalities. I quoted the article. Article 41 is also there. This is the only constitution in the world which says, reduce inequalities. But inequalities are getting perpetuated. I will give you a little more data. When we talk about, take, any kind of a power in this country. I'm giving you the latest data. This is an Oxfam report. Corporate board directors, caste-wise distribution in Indian corporate boards, 2013. This is published in EPW. Number of corporate members, Brahmins, 6,037. Vaishyas, 5,167. Kshatriyas, 250. Backward classes, 31. Scheduled castes and scheduled tribes, 35. This includes Reliance, Wipro, Infosys, and many other corporates. The entire thing, is under their control. Let me look at, other kinds of data which is also important for us in terms of political leadership. Let me give, 1 minute I will take and give the data because it is important for us to have that idea about, political leadership in India. I don't have to talk about, look at, the economic power, the media power, or any other power in this country is by them. Particularly Telangana, Andhra data I am giving. Reddys have ruled for 17 terms in office. They have been in power for 45 years. Kamas have ruled this. They have been in power for over 15 years. Brahmins have ruled. They have been in power for 5 years. Velamas have ruled. They have been in power almost for 15 years. Earlier, in Andhra government, when Jalga Mengal Rao and others were there. SCs, Mr. Yadagari is there, 2 years, 1 month. Damodar Sanjeevaya. BCs, so far in Andhra and Telangana, no political power. And we will not get that political power also as long as we keep quiet like this. Why are we asking for this census? We would like to know what is the domination of other castes and what is the representation of the backward classes. If you take, caste-wise speakers, anywhere you take. And I'm quoting, the data which has been given by Mr. Professor Simadri quite some time. I've updated little data. If you look at, builders in this, Indu is there, IVRCL is there, Lanco is there, Reddy, IVRCL is Reddy, Lanco is Kamma, Ramki is Reddy, Janapriya is Reddy, Maitas is Raju, Prajasai is Reddy, MNR is Reddy, My Home Tycoon is Velama, Ashoka Builders Reddy, Modi Builders Marwadi, Gayatri Constructions and others are Reddy. There will be one BC. There will be one BC. That is why we want this caste census. We don't want BC census. We want to tell them what kind of a political power they have wielded, what kind of an economic power they are wielding. Then you take industries, Raju, GMR, Raju is Raju, GMR is Vaishya, Lanka is Kamma, Reddy Labs is Reddy, Matrix is Kamma, GVK is Reddy, Arabindo is Reddy, Andhra Sugars is Kamma, Wipro Labs Reddy, Heteroducts Reddy, Devi is Reddy, Shanta Biotech Reddy. Cement industries are all controlled by Kammas and Reddy. Lastly, media power. ETV 1 Kamma, ETV 2 Kamma, ETV 3, 4 also Kamma. TV 9 Velama. Now, earlier it was owned by Corpus and Raju. Sakshi Reddy, ABN Andhra Jyoti Kamma, NTV Kamma, Gemini Kamma, TV5 Kamma, Ma TV Kamma Kapu, iNews Raju, Raj News Velama, Studio N Kamma, HMTV Velama, Z24 Marwadi, RTV Kannava, Maha TV, Poche TV, Poye TV, Kotta TV, Pata TV, Anni Kammalu Reddy. What are we talking about? Where is the media power? And I have the private universities list. All the private universities are owned by semi-literate people who do not have any education. Malaredi owns a university. Anurag owns a university. Okay? And others. 5 universities are all owned by, etc. When you take up anywhere, political leadership, media leadership, industrial leadership, etc. In that kind of a context, we are saying, we would like to have. Lastly, why, we are demanding.
Please conclude.
I'm concluding, sir. Lastly, it's very, very important. We are talking only from the constitutional dimension. One of the best constitutions in the world is the Indian Constitution. Which talks about equality, equity, which talks about socialism, distribution of wealth, distribution of resources. And this government is trying to do away with secularism, socialism in the Indian Constitution. When the Parliament was inaugurated, they committed the biggest constitutional crime by not having in the preamble socialism and secularism. Lastly, the preamble of the Constitution, which proclaims its goals, we the people of India give the Constitution to ourselves. What does the Constitution say? We the people of India, the Constitution to ourselves. We the people of India really includes 90% of the population. Does it include 90% of the population which is socially deprived, economically deprived, politically deprived, where social discrimination is practiced still in this country? In that kind of a context, we are demanding. What we want is caste census. We do not want BC census. We met the Chief Minister, there is some confusion there. We met other ministers, there is confusion there. In the budget, there is confusion there. That is why all of us have taken this initiative to clarify that we do not want BC census, we want caste census. We would like to know what is the caste census because the Supreme Court has already upheld in the case of Bihar. There is no confusion. No one should have any kind of an objection. Supreme Court upheld it just about 2 months ago, saying that only the caste census can be carried out. And the provisions are already there in the Constitution. Kabatti, we demand ma kavalsindi caste census. Caste census ichinapudu ఏ కులాలు ఉన్నాయి, వాళ్ళ social status ఏంటి, economic status ఏంటి. Lastly, I also demand from this forum, the creamy layer should be dropped. When you can give economically weaker sections, blatantly violating the Constitution. The Constitution does not talk about economic weakness, economic criteria. Constitution very clearly said, socially and educationally backward. Am I right, sir? The Constitution does not talk about economic criteria. Constitutional crime has been, criminality has been committed. Unfortunately, the Supreme Court upheld it. Economic criteria cannot be for reservation. EWS has been given. Once the data is there in Telangana, we will go to Supreme Court saying that when their population is only 7%, how can you give 10% reservation per economically weaker sections? My dear friends, this is a bigger battle. We are talking about equality. We are talking about social justice, political justice, and economic justice, which is there in the preamble of the Constitution. From the constitutional standpoint, from the constitutional dimension, this has to be implemented. We need to have cost census. It will help us in better planning, better policy making. Already the data relating to the budget is very disturbing. Little over 8,000 crores has been allocated for backward class welfare when we are 60% of the population. Out of 270 crores budget, only 8,000 crores have been allocated for BCs. This is the total injustice again. When we have data, we will fight for it constitutionally, much more vigorously, socially and politically. In that kind of a context, lastly, our demand is we want cost census in Telangana. Because Bihar has already carried out, Andhra has already carried out, Karnataka is in the process of carrying out, Supreme Court has already upheld, there are no any legal problems, then we will ask for sub-plan also. And we'll also appeal later this creamy layer concept should be dropped because, after Mandal Commission, even 20% reservation, not even 1% are among the professors and, the top category of officers. Not even 1 or 2%. The data is already there with us. Professor Madhuri having data, all of us are having that data. We have been highlighting that data. Though, Mandal Commission came, reservations came into existence for over, 30 years now, our representation has not been there because of creamy layer. I thank all of you for giving me this opportunity.
సో పెద్దలందరికీ విజ్ఞప్తి ఏంటనంటే